Let me ask you something. How bad do you want it? If your plans get ripped away, are you willing to leap into the unknown? Some trips are for fun, some are for adventure, and some are just absolutely necessary for the soul. So when I found out the day before leaving for Colorado that the last of my 4 buddies had to cancel on the trip we had worked so hard to plan, I was feeling defeated. This was more than just wanting to go on a trip. It was a necessity. My soul needed it. I was slipping into a dark place that sometimes only an adventure can save you from. But if I've learned anything, it's that you can't force an adventure. Because sometimes the best adventures are the ones you didn't plan for. On this trip, we're replacing the rock crawling YJ for the untested 17-year-old stock JKU I rescued that was left for dead by its last owner. But the Jeep doesn't matter, the difficulty of the trails don't matter, and heck, where we're going doesn't matter. I'll admit, I'm no overlander, but there's something to be said for that form of dirt therapy. You don't have to fit the cliche, you don't need a $100,000 rig or a $5,000 rooftop tent. You don't need to fit into the box or stigma of what people think overlanding is. You just need yourself, a rig, and a general direction on the compass. Ours just happened to be north. The adventure doesn't always start at the trailhead. You want to come along with us?
I had to make a pit stop at Complete Offroad and check out the FC and say hi to some friends. Even if you're a guy like me that does all his own work, it's still a good idea to support your local off-road shop. Generally, they're right at the center of your local off-road scene. They're going to know things before you do, and it's just a good idea to keep them in business and support them. Well, what do you know? It's another Iowa traffic jam. Finally got a winch here on the Jeep. The Zeke 13,000, it's supposed to be a clone of the Apex. I want to live in that house way up there. Things you never thought you would see in Iowa, a runaway truck ramp. Wisconsin without getting some spotted cow. Amazon Prime. So we're on this really cool road heading up to La Crosse. That was kind of the only plan I had for the day, was to get to that area. Kind of keeping it, you know, the less plan you have, the more time you have to just, if you see something cool, you go do it. But I have been up this way before. This road is super cool. There's all these super gnarly spider webs like hanging out in the trees. I've tried to record some of them. Maybe if I get a chance to stop somewhere, I will get a close-up of one. Another traffic jam.
Why do I regret this? In my mind reckless, thoughts are feeling endless. Sitting up, I'm breathless, anxiety's infectious. I feel so defenseless, betrayed and embarrassed. I hate being open, I hate being broken. I feel like an ocean filled up with emotion. Anger ain't a potion, rub it on like lotion. I can feel it soaking, reopen, the scars have awoken. I can't move on till I let go. I feel so lost, never at home. Need to be strong, every breath oh, 'cause I can't move on till I let go.
Okay, so this isn't a big one, but these are like those spider webs I was talking about. They're just all over. Oh my god, look at all the larvae in here. Come here, babe. It's not spiders. They're caterpillars. It's like a giant cocoon or something. So we started about here, went through Dubuque, came up this way, and then we went across to Prairie du Chien, and now we've been following the river up. We're heading to La Crosse. We have really no plan to get from there all the way up here somewhere to Crandon. I don't know exactly where it's at, but it's up here somewhere. And then up here's Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and we'll be getting on this thing called the 7-hour plane crash trail that just winds its way on up through here to Copper Harbor. There's more of them suckers. I thought for sure these were spider webs when we were seeing them, but I guess not.
Could be like a cocoon.
They could be the larvae for the all those stupid river flies. Hills suck. Here you see the wild, slow-moving vehicle sign out in the forest. We'll go ahead and dispose of that. I guess we've hit the end of the trail. Let's just see what's right here. There's this concrete block there. Maybe there's another lookout.
That looks like a stomp.
Whatever. Told you I need to get these eyes checked.
Yeah, it looks like trees.
Yeah, I think I'm done. It's 93 out. It's hot.
I'm in pants.
But you're cold when it's 80, so you don't count. Didn't even really take a good look out here. I was just flying the drone. So we just got done checking out La Crosse for a little while, and you know, it occurred to me we're only like an hour from Wisconsin Dells. About a month ago, we took the kids there, and there's a couple things that we didn't get a chance to do. So it's a little bit out of the way from where we're going, but we said to heck with it. We're going that way. We're gonna get food there, and hopefully find a campsite before it gets dark. If you've ever been to Wisconsin Dells, you know this place is nothing but a giant money pit, but it is pretty cool, and there's some cool stuff to do there.
How am I ever gonna finish this? I almost finished this giant burrito too, but I can't do it.
Monday through 30 is 7-ish.
So we cheated and we got a cabin because we were here a month ago, so we stayed at a different cabin that was bigger. This one's called Tiny House. We're gonna be in the middle of the woods the rest of the week, so this seems pretty kick-ass. Down
Even
the
if
way.
we make this a toilet, you still can't peek over the wall. Because look, you can see me from up there. So no
Peek
peeking.
if I want to.
No peeking. Creepy ass raccoon, like I said. Told you there's another. That one's bigger though than the last one that was overhead.
It's like they gave you a fake bathroom and then they just like, we don't need a bucket. It's okay to be bougie every once in a while, ain't it? Hey babe, you want my 3.5-inch floppy?
Nope, I'm not gonna smoke.
Come on.
I'm not gonna smoke.
Morning, y'all. Oh, we got in late last night. A little bit of a crash landing. That's why we went with the bougie little tiny house. It made for a good, super good, comfortable sleep, but we're definitely getting a little bit of a late start. It's like almost 10 in the morning already. I got a few places we want to check out, so I better get moving. This stuff is good. I spent almost no time planning this trip. I had no idea what we were getting ourselves into, and the only reason we chose to go up there it was the week of that massive heat wave, and I happened to notice that up there it was still 75, 70 degrees, and we just set our sights and started driving north. All this white color you see on the map and the purple, that was like well over 100 degrees for reference.
Later. So we've kind of just been bombing north all day. We had some plans to do stuff around where we were at. It was just way too hot down there. It was like 100 degrees. So weird. What the hell? Really, I start recording and it has to fall off. That's perfect. So anyway, we said to hell with all that, and we bombed north, so we're in Crandon, and we're getting ready to hop on this, what is it called? 7-hour plane crash trail. It goes clear up into the Upper Peninsula. We really didn't research it, so this should be
USA West,
Shut
Glen
up.
Street.
should be fun. So this is where they hold that Ultra 4 race, I think. And the funny thing is, we're here just a week early for it. So if it was just a week later, this place would be screaming with people. Can't really see it very well, but Brandon Raceway. Here's part of it over here, but right here on this road that we just turned on, this is actually the start of the 7-hour plane crash trail, which you can see it right there on my phone maybe. So we're just gonna do the old going track. Definitely much better temperature up here. So we are officially on this route. It looks like it's comprised mostly of Forest Service trails. There are still private properties, obviously. I have a feeling the deeper that we get into this, the less and less of that we're going to start seeing. But I am using the Onyx app. I downloaded like 150 square mile area around here just because the service kind of sucks. This way, there's even a little breadcrumb track, and if I want to backtrack the way I came, I can follow that for whatever reason, or if I have to leave this route to go find fuel or anything like that, then it's easy to get back to where I was at. So there are lots of campsites and stuff along the way on here, which I've already scoped out a few of them and marked them out. It's only 4 o'clock, so we've got a little ways we can go yet. When I got home from this trip, I reached out to Onyx and I decided to partner with them and become one of their trail guides, which means I can add trails to the app. Now, while I don't have my own discount to give you yet, they did tell me I can give you Trail Guide 30 and take 30% off a subscription. If you want to try it out, that's actually a bigger discount than they would have gave me if I had my own code, so everybody wins. It had been a while since we passed anything, and it was starting to feel like we were really getting out to the middle of the nowhere, so I decided to launch the drone and just see what I could see, and that was it. Nothing but trees every which way you could look. And you know, another funny thing, this is probably one of my first times trying to do the whole flying the drone and driving at the same time thing, and I gotta give mad props to the people that do this on a regular basis, because it is a lot harder than it looks, especially when you don't have a drone that you can set automatic programs on. That could be interesting. This is just another example of how not having an itinerary or a plan opens you up to do anything you see, anything you want. And sometimes you go down these little trails and you find cool stuff, and sometimes they just dead end and you don't find anything. But it's not always about what you find. Sometimes it's just about the journey. Lots of potholes on this thing, whatever it is. This is the kind of stuff that I wish that we had in Iowa. Like, there's just nothing like this anywhere. So according to the map, this actually just kind of looks like it leads to a whole different trail system. So we're probably going to turn around and head back to the one that we came off of. I just kind of wanted to check it out. Something going back that way. I'm guessing most of these are just hunting trails. One of the things that really surprised me on this trip was there wasn't a whole lot of bugs, and everybody always says when you go up north and you go out into the woods in the middle of nowhere, the farther north you get, the worse the mosquitoes get. They get big, they're all over the place, and we hardly encountered any bugs. I don't know if that's just a fluke in the season or the temperature or what it was, but I'm not complaining. I'll tell you guys one thing, I just launched that drone up there and it is just thick woods as far as I can see in every direction, so we are way out here, which is pretty awesome. Fire Tower Road. Is there actually a fire tower down there? On the flip side, here's an example of a missed opportunity. I wish I would have went down this road and seen if there was actually a fire tower, because now I'm sitting at home trying to Google it, and there's like 20 fire tower roads in northern Wisconsin, and I can't find if there's anything there, and it's driving me batshit crazy. I want to know. So we've gone 26.2 miles since we left Crandon, or the start of this trail, so it's been about an hour and 29 minutes. There are washboards that'll sneak up on you and rattle you to death if you go too fast. Well, we've made it to a 2-track anyway. Might be time to let some air out of these tires.
What's a sign say, babe?
So once again, I didn't do any research or planning on this, but what I found out after the fact when I got home is this section of trail right here is about the only spot on this route that turns people around and makes them find an alternate route because the water gets extremely deep. I guess the creek becomes one with the trail and it's like hood high and it just becomes impassable. Now it's been really dry down where I live. I'm not sure how much rain they've been getting up here. There's definitely a bunch of water on the trail and everything seems wet, but we're gonna go ahead and push forward and see what we see because again, remember, I didn't even know what I was getting into. This is actually a little more than I expected out of this trail. I think it said 3 out of 10. Kind of hard to tell how deep stuff like this is, but being hundreds of miles from home and being solo makes it kind of interesting.
Yeah. Don't get my seat wet.
So going through all that mud and crap, I don't know if you can hear that, there's some kind of a horrible sign. I don't know if I got something stuck in a freaking wheel hub between the dust shield or what. See, it just stopped. It keeps stopping and then starting back up. No idea what it was. That was the first time I've used 4-wheel drive, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought I was getting stuck. It felt like I had lost all my momentum, but it just chugged through, so these tires don't have a lot of bite on them. So it was around this time we had started keeping our eyes peeled for a good clearing or just somewhere where we could stop for the night and set up camp, but this area was super marshy and just a 2-track. There was no clearings or anything anywhere. And before we know it, we came out onto a paved road, and then right down the paved road we found a deserted campground. Well, this is gonna be home for tonight. We were just gonna do some dispersed camping out in the woods, but we had kind of had enough. We were looking for spots. We saw this place and there's not a soul in sight. So far, at least. The bugs aren't that bad either. Hopefully it stays that way. So check this thing out. I got it on Amazon and it's for splitting wood down into kindling, and it works so good. Now if you do really hard wood, it'll snap your wrist. So yeah, I'll leave a link to this in the description if you guys want to get one of these, because that is super easy. Getting ready to cook some burgers, but I gotta burn about 4 years worth of sludge off of here first. So what do you think of our first campsite, babe? Besides the bugs.
All the bugs ain't as bad as they could be.
That's for sure. I wish that we would have got a sunset and it wasn't so overcast, but it beats 103-degree weather. So we were supposed to be able to get a shower at the cabin that we were at, but the hot water heater was broken. So yeah, that was like our only chance at a shower. So all of a sudden this lake's starting to look a little bit refreshing because I am super sticky. What do you think, babe? Skinny dipping?
The water's probably cold. No. You might get a toe in there.
I'll go feel it. Oh yeah, it's cold. Not like ice cold, but it's not warm. Better make sure I don't burn camp down over here. Speaking of almost burning camp down, here I was just trying to make a campfire, minding my own business, and I thought, you know what, I've proved myself. I've done it the hard way enough times. I'm just going to get the torch out and get this baby ripping. The tank just started leaking gas out of nowhere, and I tried to put my thumb over the hole where it was leaking, and that just like forced gas out somewhere else, and poof. Honestly, it scared the crap out of me. I just launched it and kind of took off running because I thought the tank was going to explode, but it kind of burned itself out, and that was that.
Clearly this thing's faulty. I don't know if you saw me almost blow myself up, but it just started blowing gas out of here while I was down there and just whoosh. Luckily it went out enough for me to stomp it out, so I guess this thing's going in the trash. Hey, at least the fire's going.
Is that what's left of it?
I got it stomped out. I just undid it, so we're good. There's still gas in there too.
So you just throw that tank away.
This is what was leaking. My torch thing.
Then throw it away.
That's the plan. R.I.P.
I saw a reel and it said that guys only ever cook so that they can pour beer on whatever it is they're making, and well, they're not wrong.
One of the struggles that we've been having is I kind of brought too much stuff like normal. This isn't all of it, obviously, and it's not how it goes. We actually kind of blew everything out here to try to reorganize a little bit, so I'm hoping that after tomorrow it's better. Having a fridge, that's a game changer. Brought the fishing poles in case we just, you know, can't help ourselves. By the way, I did finally get Google Maps to load. We are like 500 feet across the Michigan border, so we are in Michigan now. I never saw a welcome to Michigan sign, but we came off a trail, turned, went like 500 feet and found this campground. So yeah, anyway, definitely my first time in Michigan, especially Upper Michigan, but we're getting this stuff picked up and I think we're gonna be heading to bed. We'll talk to y'all in the morning.
You know, sometimes when I'm packing or getting ready for a trip and it's just a lot of work, getting everything loaded up, getting everything ready, and sometimes you wonder, why am I even doing this? And honestly, this clip right here, this clip is my reminder of why I do it. It's just the little moments, and they come few and far between, and sometimes you don't even realize they're happening until after they're done, but this is why I do it.
This hasn't been very exciting. Tearing camp down in the rain. Luckily there's this little changing room here, so we dragged our tent in there to kind of fold it up in the dry. Just got to pick up a couple little pieces of trash that we dropped, and I think it looks better than we found it, but it hasn't been a fun morning at all, guys. And I have no idea where we're going. I have no cell service here, so we can't look anything up, but yeah, let's get out of here.
Well, we're back on the road again. Conveniently, the rain mostly stopped now that we're done trying to pack up camp. If you do this trail, right over here is like a US Highway 2, so you start getting a little bit of cell signal sporadically in this area if you're needing it for maps or anything like that. This loop of the trail is kind of a big waste of time. It's like going 10 miles to cover 1 mile of ground, but we're go ahead and doing it anyway. Very simple gravel roads, nothing too exciting.
Been noticing this fence line along this trail, and it says, what does it say? The Wilderness Reserve 5,500 acre ranch. Looks like it's right on the Wisconsin border. I just saw a sign that said logging operations ahead, and I'm gonna tell you something. I'm about to have some logging operations of my own here in a minute. You know what I mean? Starting to wonder why the road was so smooth. It's because we got a grader in front of us.
This trail isn't actually a trail. It's a conglomeration of a bunch of other existing trails and even connecting roads that somebody else created. And because of that, there's times where you'll go a long way and you won't see anything or anybody. And then there's other times where you'll have to do a couple, 2-3 miles on blacktop where you'll run into people.
All right, so we just stopped at this place. It's called Lake St. Catherine. There is campgrounds, whatever. I mostly just stopped for the vault toilet, but looks like there's some little quad trails and stuff. That's a pretty decent sized lake. I'm pretty sure it wraps way around that way where we can't see. finally decided to air down a little bit. It's not that we really need it, but these were all at 35 and it's kind of rattling our teeth out. I don't need any help with that, so I dropped about 10 pounds out of all of them. It should still be good for the road, but be a little bit softer on these trails. So speaking of those, let's get moving. So I want you guys to guess how many miles you think that we're putting on this whole trip. Put it down in the comments, and at the end of the video I'll give you a little picture of the trip meter, and whoever gets closest I'll send you out a couple stickers or something. Alright, so we made it to this little town called Sidnaw. They got a little one pump gas station. I'm still at about half a tank, but it means I don't know where there's more gas. I'm gonna take this opportunity and fill her up. Holy shit, 564 a gallon. Jesus. Well, this place is more of a snowmobile stop than anything, but she said I can put a sticker here. Got some good local info from the lady at that gas station. She basically just said these are mostly just snowmobile trails that are open to drive in the summer and stuff. This one, it looks like dirt, but it feels like sand. But yeah, all they had was 91 octane there for snowmobiles and stuff, so that's why it was a little pricey. But said it was 6 miles further down the road to get more gas. I had half a tank, so I just went ahead and put like 40 bucks worth in it. Basically filled me back up. We don't have to worry about it now. As painful as that was, I'm still thinking that's better than running out of gas on the side of the trail. And I wasn't carrying any gas cans with me, so I just opted for the peace of mind. Trying not to scare him, but you see his big old white tail up here? We had just passed 2 right behind there trying to get the camera out, didn't get it in time, and then saw that guy. I think we're getting out of the national forest, and it's kind of starting to look like we're getting closer to a town. I've been seeing like a couple farms and stuff, so who knows? It's been at least an hour or so since we left that. What was that place called? Signal. But we're still following the plane crash trail on the Onyx here. I must have forgot to pause it last night, so it says we're 21 hours in, but more realistically, probably 4.5, 5, something like that. So we just went through Mass City, and apparently now there's a pretty sizable stretch of just blacktop, because we've been at least 10 miles now. It looks like it is intersecting with some other trail right here, but so I have to just keep an eye out for it in case it peels off. But for now, it's highway. So there was this other trail called Bill Nichols Trail that was following. You can see my red line. I was following the highway, but they started to separate, so I had to peel back. But whoever did this route before, it must have got their GPS route confused, and it keeps jumping back and forth between the two. But once they started to separate, I decided it was probably best to go ahead and jump back over here and follow this. What in the heck are they doing with all this? It's like swamp mat, so they can drive out there. So while we were making good time on the highway, that's probably because we were supposed to be on this snowmobile trail the whole time. So here we go. And it's very much nothing exciting. This is one of those instances where doing the research ahead of time would have proved fruitful, because we actually missed out on something really cool. There's these 3 trestles that go over these valleys. I'll try to put some pictures on here. And you have to get on the Bill Nichols Trail right after Mass City. But whoever had uploaded this route into Onyx, I've since discovered they had got the route kind of wrong. You can find the 7-hour plane crash route, the GPX files, online, and whoever put it onto Onyx, they just didn't quite follow it right, and we missed out on some pretty cool stuff. Can you believe it's already turning fall colors up here though, and it's still August? What is the day, babe?
August 24th.
August 24th, and stuff's already turning purple and yellow up here. It's wild, but it is only 69 degrees. A little
trail update here. So up in this area, this part of it is literally just a snowmobile trail. It pretty much follows the highway. I think I said that earlier. There's lots of stops like for people's driveways, and every time there's a stop sign, there's really bad washboards. So, you know, if you were doing this route and you're just trying to make some time, it might make more sense just to put in a couple miles on the highway. Here's a good example of it. There's a stop sign right there, and this will probably get super bumpy here.
I love the way these snowmobile tracks just kind of go through all these little towns that you pass along the highway. I was trying to imagine living up here and like going to work in the morning on a snowmobile instead of taking the road. And I don't know, something about that just makes me happy.
And here's the joys of making videos. Trying to be right in the middle of something and your SD card's full, so you have to stop on the side of the road and, you know, upload. Anyway, this is what I was trying to show you over here. There's this old giant mill, and there's those buildings, but there's a bunch of like old ruins and stuff over there too. And maybe we'll swing back over there after this camera gets done.
I don't remember the name of that town we were just in. I think it was Houghton or Houghton or something with an H. But we're back on the trail again. I did see a street sign. It said that Copper Harbor was 40 miles away. And best I can tell, this kind of mirrors the highway, so it should be about the same distance for us. It's getting to be, well, it's 4:43 our time, but our phones say it's 5:43 because we've moved into the Eastern time zone at some point today. It's not going to be too long before we want to find camp, but I really wanted to get to the end of this and see the lake. So let's see how far we make it. Well, we've officially been on this trail for 24 hours and 4 minutes. That doesn't bode well being called the 7-hour plane crash trail, but I think we were at camp for about 14 or 15 hours last night. We stopped for about an hour just now, so I don't know. I feel like we need to be hauling some ass to make it in 7 hours though. It's like 250 some miles start to end. It's a long way.
Well guys, I was getting ready to fly the drone out here, but apparently there's an airport over there and I'm in a restricted area, so it won't let me take off. Stupid thing.
That's cool.
Decisions had to be made here. It's getting kind of late. I really want to see the sun go down over Lake Superior. So we peeled off the trail. We're putting on some road miles here. We're going to pop down by this Eagle Harbor or Eagle River or something like that.
Eagle River.
And we're just going to drive our way up the coastline towards Copper Bay. What is that called again? Copper Bay?
Harbor.
Copper Harbor, that's right. So we may not make it there tonight, and we may not make it there by the trail, but the plan is we can go down there tomorrow, check that out, and then hop on the end of the trail that we're skipping today and kind of work our way back as we head home. But we don't have another day to stay up here, so kind of is what it is. This is why we came here.
You're doing it?
At least a little bit.
Should have left your shorts on. Is it cold? Alright, go dip.
Now, I was trying not to brag, but Amber decided the whole world needed to see how good of a rock skipper I am. Actually, I'm totally joking. I suck ass at it, and this was pure luck.
That one was like 8.
Well, this may be my first time in Michigan, but it's definitely not my first time at Lake Superior. I had an ancestor, a great-great-great-grandpa that I'd never met. He lived up in northern Wisconsin, right by Lake Superior, and when I was a kid, my uncle bought some property that was close to my grandpa's old cabin, and we'd go up there and camp and cut trails and shoot guns and whatever. And nothing ever ended up coming to the property, but I remember these trips pretty vividly being a kid, and I remember going to the lake a lot. And one of the things that kind of hit me when I was here, and I never shared this with you guys, but 2 years ago, and this was after I started my channel and everything, but my mom passed away kind of suddenly, and it was kind of it's been a hard thing, but just being on that beach where she used to take me when I was probably like 8 or 10 years old or something, and we would pick out driftwood and pick out rocks to bring home and stuff. And I don't know, coming back here I just felt like she was watching or something. I'm not a spiritual person, I'm not a religious person, I'm not any of that stuff, but something definitely just kind of hit home for me showing up here again at Lake Superior all these years later. And you'll see later in the video, I kind of give Amber some crap for grabbing rocks to bring home, but honestly it warmed my heart because that's what I used to do when I was a kid with my mom, because my mom was a rock nut, so everywhere we went we had to always bring home rocks. And it just, I don't know, it's weird how things come full circle sometimes. Didn't even notice this when I was flying, but I got some footage of a lady dancing with her dog. So, you know, put that in the video. So I decided to leave Eagle River and try to get closer to Copper Harbor. I was thinking maybe I could get there before the sun went down. And that kind of worked against me in a couple ways, because one, I couldn't get there before it went down, and two, we started rolling into this just wall of fog. I was gonna try to set up a time lapse, but all this fog kind of rolled in. Still might look cool. Anyway, once we got to where the sun was gonna go down, we just kind of stopped and took in what we could.
Where you going, little buddy? Sun's just about gone.
A little acorn.
Look at this one though. It's got like a, I wonder if that's one of those agates they were talking about.
Oh, I'm sure it is, because there's...
Pretty cool.
Okay.
Well, this spot's been cool, but what do you say we go find us somewhere to camp or sleep or something?
Yeah, something.
After you're done hoarding rocks.
You brought those to me.
Don't ever go to the store and buy rocks, guys. Just go steal them from nature. Don't make me tackle you in this sand.
Is that why you're backing up? Is that why you're backing up? Exactly.
As we got close to Copper Harbor, it was getting dark. We had no cell service, no way to find where we could camp, so we did what most people would do, and we just ended up getting a hotel. Nothing like beans and rice and brats from a hotel room. It's good stuff. Our tent is still completely soaked from last night, so we've got it out here on the balcony. Hopefully it'll dry out. Well, good morning, y'all. We've been exploring around Copper Harbor a little bit. Mostly just a tourist trap, but up the road here, it says there's a waterfall, so we came to check it out. Get near it. That is a long way down. Holy crap. I hope this tree holds.
This is as far as I go. I mean, it goes a little bit further.
This is not somewhere that you want to misstep, I'll tell you that much. Might not look like a long way down, but it is. I think it's so cool how this rock, it's just like all these pebbles that are like solidified together. It's so weird. So yesterday we peeled off the trail right about here, this Calumet, Osceola, whatever, but it looks like whoever did the original going track, they did the same thing and got on Highway 41, but I suspect this trail is supposed to follow this little, probably a snowmobile track, whatever it is. But they just drove the highway all the way. So it sounds like they ended up in the same boat that we did. So now here we are. And this trail actually ends right here on this High Rock Bay. And that's where US 41 starts, is right there. So I think what we are going to do is run down that trail out to the Rocket Range and then come back up this way, which was the end of 7 Hour Plane Crash Trail, until it meets back up right here. Well then, so we are still on Plane Crash Trail. You can see it, if this will focus, it says it right there, but yeah, we've ran into a gate. High Rock, side by sides allowed, no full-size vehicles. That's kind of crappy. I find it interesting how it says the same thing on the back side of the gate, like, so you could be a full-size vehicle coming from this way. It says extreme rough road, and then they wouldn't let you through. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's not like I couldn't get through this, but... So, I'm right here. I just added this to the app, this thing that basically just says gate lock, put a photo in there of it. Of course, it put it in the wrong spot, but we just passed a thing that said it was a track to an old mine, and there's a little dotted line on here, but no, like, trail info, and since this is closed, I guess we're going to drive back in there and check that out. So I wanted to point out another discrepancy I found in the mapping. So this here's the actual route. You can see it's much farther south than where I'm at on the red X. But we're going to overlay the OnX map here. You can see it takes you through kind of where I'm at now on the red X. So once again, it's just a matter of whoever added this trail to OnX Offroad kind of didn't follow the actual route. And I'm actually working with OnX to try to get this corrected so that it brings you to the right spot. That's cool. Not really sure what they would do at an old mine with a tower like this. Obviously it had to be some sort of a furnace, but holy cow. It's crazy because you can tell this thing was just hand built. Oh, it is hollow all the way up. You can see up through it. That is so cool.
So that furnace tower, whatever it was right up by the main road. So we decided to head deeper into these little trails and two tracks to see if we could find any other ruins. Alright guys, it's time for some real talk. I'm not here to preach to you, but is it that fucking hard to just pick up your trash and bring it out with you instead of flinging it out on the window onto these trails? I mean, come on. I get it. Some people have kids, and kids are assholes, and kids throw stuff out the window, and you're always going to run into some stuff. But I see full-grown adults out riding on the trails, and they're flinging empties out the windows, and it's like, you're going to be the one crying later when these trails all get closed down and nobody can go anywhere. People just aren't using their head. People aren't realizing that they're creating the problem that they're whining about. I don't know, that's just me. I'll go ahead and step off my soapbox now, but keep the trails clean, guys.
I think the mine is supposed to be at the end of this road. It's not very well traveled, but we'll see what's up here. Well, we've reached the end of what it says is the road, and I'm not seeing much for mine. We're just in a little turnaround, basically.
Forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but we're out on what they call the Upper Peninsula, and it's just cool being surrounded on 3 sides by Lake Superior. So the drone's pointing to the north and you can see the lake, and as I pan around to the east and then all the way around to the south, you can still see the lake. I don't know, I just like cool places like this. So even though the trail we wanted to run down was closed and we didn't find any cool mine ruins, I was still happy as could be in this moment.
So we're heading back out of here. All we found of mine ruins was that tower thing, and I keep passing all these like Subarus and minivans coming up this dirt road, and I'm starting to think maybe that's what the gate was there for. Maybe we would have been fine to go around it. Honestly, I don't know. If it says it's closed, I'm not doing it. That's all there is to it. Made it to the end of the road here. I had no idea this highway starts here and goes all the way to Miami. That's kind of crazy. We are at the end of the road, but we are gonna go down here at least a little ways and check it. It says it's 7.5 miles to the High Rock Bay. At some point today, we got to start making some ground back towards home, so we're just gonna check this out a little ways and see what we can find. Definitely doing a lot of dirt work out here on this forest road, whatever it is. You know, some of these puddles, I'm glad it hasn't rained a lot, because some of them could be really deep if they were all the way full. We went through one back there that would have been about up to my windshield. Even now it's hard to tell how deep they are, but so far we haven't left two-wheel drive. think I heard the exhaust go under for a second.
What I meant earlier was, if you look at some of these holes I'm going in, you can see they're in like a giant bowl. And so if it rained a ton, it could fill up way fuller than they are now, like this one that's right in front of us. Who's to say how deep it was, but I did see on the Onyx app, somebody said there's some holes that could swallow a minivan if you're not careful. So, I don't know. Go down this road at your own risk. Gotta say, I wasn't expecting to see Subarus and a camper and a trailer down here. This old iron must be what's left of their rocket launch pad, I guess. Hard to say. It's hard to see. That's as much zoom as I got, but I'm pretty sure that's a lighthouse over there. Gold Point, I think the map said. I just had to go and do it again and Google this lighthouse, and this thing looks awesome, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to get my Jeep to be able to cross like 2 miles of lake so I can get out there the next time. Must have had a lot of fun getting that down that road. Crikeys, we've just encountered a North American rock thief in the wild. If you stay really quiet, they won't harm you. It was really cool to make it all the way out to the end of this peninsula, but it was also a bittersweet moment because I knew from this point forward we were just going to be heading closer to home and closer to all those problems that I was kind of running from on this trip. And you know, the thing about problems is you can try to run from them, you can try to hide from them, but sooner or later you're going to have to deal with them, and sometimes it's definitely nice to get a break from them to help clear your head so you can come at things from a different angle. Already down here hoarding rocks.
This one's got so many different colors in it. And this one just looks really cool too. So yeah, I found some cool rocks and I'm taking them home.
What are these? Doesn't look very edible to me. That bee wants it. That bee wants it. I'm out of here.
So I was gonna take a different route back, but the trail that's supposed to be there kind of doesn't exist. Anyway, it's starting to sprinkle, and we saw a storm kind of rolling in out over Lake Superior there. So we're like, we might be getting out through these mud holes just in time before they get super deep. We're probably gonna swing back through Copper Harbor one more time and see whatever else there is to see, and then we're gonna start heading back south toward home and hopefully find a decent campsite that's not where it's raining. That'd be swell. What do you think, babe? We did get our tent most of the way dry last night.
Yeah, but if we have to put it up when it's raining, it's not gonna stay dry.
Well, yeah, that's why I said hopefully a site that's where it's not raining. But yeah, definitely having to turn the wipers on now. This should get fun. Yep. Yep. You just can't be a dickhead on the trail. Sometimes you just gotta let people go by. They're out there getting soaked right now. Why the hell would I make them stop for me?
So I learned here that my DJI Pocket really kind of sucks at doing time lapses, but I left this in here because I want you to keep an eye out. I ran across this super awesome Kia truck. It's one of those Mitsubishi four-wheel drive minivans, and I actually stopped on the trail and talked to the guy for about 5 minutes. It doesn't look like it on here, but Super cool dude. They had just got it. It was a right-hand drive, and chatted those guys up, and it was just really cool to see something like that out there.
Well, we made it off that one trail. We're back kind of on the main dirt loop that got back in there. It is coming down pretty good now. This road's just like nothing but a giant washboard, though. Oh, we got some road work. That guy don't give two craps that it's raining. He's just like, I'm going. I want to make sure he knows that I'm there.
He's digging into the road.
See what I mean? He keeps swinging back out.
Yeah.
I don't have a horn. There we go. That's gotta be a fun job, just sitting here in a thunderstorm digging the road.
You have no idea how hard it was to resist the urge to time this just right and blast this dude off of his bike. I'm really not that big of an asshole. The thought was there, but I didn't let the intrusive thoughts win. This time.
Well guys, we made it off that flooded trail and kind of took our last little look around Copper Harbor, and now we are headed back south, hopefully to find somewhere dry to stay for the night. It's 3 o'clock, so we've got a ways to go yet, but we're also about 12 hours from home, so if we can eat some of that distance up, I'm not going to argue with it.
You know, if I ever get a chance to move away from Iowa, I've always wanted to move out west to Colorado or Utah. But while I was up here, I couldn't help but think that, man, it would be pretty cool to live up here too. But I gotta say, the winters are probably horrible there, being 10 or 12 hours north of where I'm at. The winters are bad enough where I'm at. I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
What is it, 6:40? We drove several hours south. We're outside of some town called Eagle River, Wisconsin now. Nicollet National Forest, and we're trying to find a campsite, and we found a super overgrown trail. Let me flip you around, I'll show you. Very tight. So I don't know if there's going to be anything at the end of this or not, but we're about to find out. I wonder how bad the bugs are.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if we get ticks in this this far back.
Well, I mean, it's a clearing. Everything's soaked back here. Oh, this one's a bust, so there is a national forest campground that's nearby. We're gonna go take a peek at that.
Vehicle.
You ready to eat, babe? Yeah. We really got to learn how to start getting to camp a little sooner, huh? But hey, at least we made it a good ways home, so our drive's only like 6 hours tomorrow. I'll tell you one thing, guys, I will never go back to using a cooler after getting one of these fridges, and this is not a fancy $1,000 fridge. This is like $200 on Amazon, maybe. Astro AI. This thing is freaking amazing, and I've got a little Vivor battery pack that I run it off of. Right now it's in the tent, but dude, the combination of those two, unstoppable.
So this is the battery that we're running. It's a Vivor, I think it's 300 amp hour. But we brought it in the tent so that we can fill up our air mattress thing. And then I got my phone charging on it, and then we run this extension cord back out to the Jeep to keep the fridge going.
and it works out pretty well. It's at 70%. It usually makes it all night. But yeah, this thing's pretty affordable compared to like Jackery and all that stuff. So if you want to check it out, I'll post it below.
So we woke up this morning with the intention of doing some more exploring, and we did walk around the camp and find this old growth pine tree, which I thought was pretty cool that it was still standing. It survived. Now there are a couple other trail systems in the area that we had intended on checking out, and once you get too much farther south from here, it kind of turns back into farmland and there's not so much for trails anymore. But we also had some messages from home and some things that we had to deal with, so we made the decision to just bomb the rest of the way home. So I do want to thank you guys for coming on this little adventure with us and checking out the video, and I hope to see you in the next one, guys. Thanks.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright.